And welcome in Jims and Jimettes. Oh, it feels so good to say that once more to another exciting edition of No Substitute for Sports. I'm your host, Nick Johnston. This is episode 56 back on the YouTube side of things. And yes, I'm feeling, I think I know who attacked Cam Newton at that 7-on-7. Mr. Brock Purdy, where were you on that particular day and time? You have to figure that one out. You got to maybe figure out an alibi there. Thank you, as always, for tuning into the No Substitute for Sports podcast on the Degenerates Network YouTube page. If you're just stumbling upon us, hit that subscribe button, but only after you hit the like button. Maybe share us around, tell your friends, tell your fellow court stormer as you run onto the potential, as you run over the number one potential over, excuse me, tell your fellow court stormer as you're about to run over the potential number one overall pick in the draft. How you doing? You can follow us on Twitter at Degenerates, and every Thursday, yes, Thursday, but not this Thursday. We got a Windy City game. Thursday, 2 p.m. Central. I go live, twitch.tv/SportsTownShy for No Substitute for Sports live. Keeping up anything we didn't get to here. Finally, subscribe on the YouTube side of things for X-Bomb Sports Facebook page. Oh, that one's banned, but follow the X-Bomb Sports on the YouTube and the Twitch side of things, going live there, talking wrestling on Bad Karma Wrestling, me and Double D, David Dykstra over there. Ready, Mike? Like I said, back to this one. So
So
much to
much to
talk
talk
about.
about. So
So
much
much
to
to
talk
talk
about.
about. Bang. As my phone falls. But there you go. There you have it. A lot of different topics today. First, we'll start off in Chicago like usual. The United Center was popping on Sunday with the Chelios retirement ceremony that ended in uh, Patrick Kane overtime game winner. Next, Bellinger finally signs with the Cubs, so we can finally properly preview both Chicago squads before the start of the season. A little late to get going, you get a little spring training in there, but that's fine. Franchise tags are here for some, but not for all. Reactions to a few names that won't be receiving tags in this offseason. Finally, results from WWE's Elimination Chamber and WWE 2K roster drama. Yeah, we'll see about that. All that, tons more in between. But before we get underway, let me introduce to you my friend and co host, the founder and CEO of Fat Cat underscore streams. And that's with a Z, Mikey J. Fat Cat. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. It's been surprisingly beautiful weather the
I
past
know.
couple of days, hanging out with the family and whatnot, and it's been good, man. How about you?
Oh yeah, fantastic. Like I said, a little bit of a hiatus, but well, much deserved. I mean, not much really to talk about. Okay, I had my little laptop drama, but like I said, we're back to base. We're back to everything we need to be. So everything's been
Love it.
fine. Graduated. We did our little graduation ceremony for RBT, so that was pretty cool. I got a bunch of names, so it was a fantastic turnout in terms of the graduates, the people that support them in terms of their family, and just like all the faculty members. Obviously, that's it's a big thanks to everyone there. Like I've been saying this all week, and every single time I've had an opportunity, I came in there, as green as can be, and I'm still basically the same shade as this Mountain Dew can, but came in there and I still, I've asked probably the dumbest of dumb questions, but never did the IMS staff ever like make me feel like I've been in a dumb predicament. They've done nothing but take me under their wing and help me every single way. So that's just from the Windy City stuff to just the projects at the school to just like I said, just even basic, personal stuff. I've asked even other instructors and stuff just like for advice on stuff. So it's been fantastic. It's been absolutely fantastic. Fantastic week and just overall loving it. Loving every single second of it. Like you said, fantastic weather, but getting a little rain as of right now, but we'll deal with that. No reason to cry about that. It's all good over here. So if you're good, we got some appetizers. Like I said, we're back on the YouTube side of things. I loved it. How'd you feel? How was your feelings on the live side of things? Haven't been able to upload that on the YouTube, but if you like I said, if you're able to check back when I put it up on Spotify eventually, it might still even be up on the Twitch page. How was going live?
Yeah, I loved calling in on the phone. I thought it was a nice change of pace, but I do love doing the face-to-face interaction here whenever we're live in person. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to do it that way. It was cool.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And like I said, I sent this to my instructor and he said he had a nice time in listening to it and actually enjoyed our Game of Thrones talk. He loved your loved your reactions to stuff. I don't think he's actually seen it himself, but it's been a while, but he still enjoyed it. So like I said, this is to the audience that that did listen, they did enjoy it. So that was fun. Like I
I
said,
love to hear that.
yeah, if we're ready to roll, we can get into some appetizers. There's plenty to get to. Like I said, we have a stacked ass episode to get to. Uh,
Let's do it.
yeah, that SNL was actually watchable this weekend, this past weekend. SNL host was Shane Gillis. A lot of people were highly sought after this episode. Myself, your brother was all over this. You were included as well. I mean, this was a fantastic episode. It's the first SNL full SNL I've probably watched from beginning to end, actually live to in years, and rightfully so. Shane Gillis is the man. He's hilarious. I did just see something. He got like a 6 episode sketch comedy show or little sitcom on Netflix called
Yeah.
Tires. That's a little thing on actually a short YouTube clip on his other pages before. But hey, congratulations, man! This is absolutely fantastic. Everyone's been saying it already. Like not getting canceled, not getting already getting fired by SNL was the best thing that could have happened. I mean, already leaped and jumped. He's much more recognizable than anyone else besides maybe Keenan Thompson on SNL today. So I don't know. Yeah, shout out to him. This is a fantastic episode. What were you thinking from the big dog from Shane Gillis?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I'm a big fan of comedy. When I saw and they announced he was going to be hosting, knew I had to tune in for that. Me and my brother. Uh, it was all just all around great. He had a great monologue to start it, just saying stuff that no one usually would say
Oh yeah,
on SNL, but that's just his kind of comedy, and I love that he just still went all for it. And even the sketches and skits that he was in throughout the whole night were all hilarious. Even the ones that didn't even make the
yeah.
show that they posted after, like
That's
the
been the
lead.
consensus. The Limu Emu sketch that didn't make it, that went right to YouTube, right to Twitter, has been like the consensus favorite. I like the Gump one. I like the guy that he just doesn't
That was so
recognize.
funny.
Yeah, he just like hasn't recognized what Forrest Gump has done that entire time. That
It's
one was
just
pretty
such a
good.
like it's so stupid that it's
Yeah.
funny. It's like who thinks of that? Like, oh, it's like what has you don't know Forrest Gump is gone, dude.
Yeah,
Like
you're in that realm. I also yeah, exactly. I mean, we're gonna just run through the catalog, but I also enjoy yeah, obviously the fake draft or the fake gambling sites. Like your rock bottom friends, you can bet on how it's all gonna end. A divorce was plus 100 or,
and
or
you could
begging for
parlay
money.
stuff.
Yeah, that was all. It was all fantastic. It's like I said, a solid episode. The white man Ken Trump. He did.
Yeah, that was great.
He got to do his Trump impression. So yeah, he got to do everything and more there. I enjoyed I enjoyed the opening monologue. Everyone in the everyone and their mother that blogs about this shit is oh, he bombed, he did this. Like yeah, I mean you either got it or you don't. Like you either get Shane Gillis's like his act or like if you listen to Matt and Shane's secret podcast, you like probably know like you get it. Like this was all for him. This is a personal thing, like for him and his dad, just to come out there and roast his dad live on TV. Oh God, again, just so funny. So and like it's just an added layer that like he's already described him as like a Fox News dad. So like it's all fun. He was in the Wolf's Den with him. He was ready to go. It was like I said, fantastic episode for personally for
Oh
myself. A lot of
yeah.
people, this has been getting a lot of buzz and rightfully so. So hell yeah, shout out to that. I mean, besides that, comedy wise, we saw Tim Dillon over the weekend as well. That was pretty awesome. We saw him at the Improv.
Yeah,
Sick.
he was great
Great
too.
set. Great set again. He was there all weekend and he I don't know if you saw on his social media, he went to the Trump Tower and he's like, my mother's shining like grinning down upon me now or something like that. She's a big lunatic. Uh, but there was that. You had one really quick on the side of just entertainment before we flip on to sports appetizers. What were your what else were you catching up on this week? I think there was a new Walking Dead show.
Yeah,
Am I mistaken?
yeah, it's me, my brother, and my dad. We were always big Walking Dead fans from the beginning. Uh we watched it every week. Like that was our sh like I think we watched like the first two seasons just like straight through, and then from there on out, we were watching it every week on AMC, and it was just our show. And once Andrew Lincoln, he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. Rick got cut out of the show, cooked him, but they left an opening, of course, where he could come back in some way. So there's this new show with Rick and Michonne, and they're back. The GOAT is back. Me and my dad and my brother are back. We were watching it the other day. It's only a 6 episode series because they were supposed to make movies out of this. That was their main plan, but they fell through. So they ended up just making this mini series on AMC. But if Andrew Lincoln's there, I'm seated. He
Oh
was the
yeah.
main star of The Walking Dead. Whole thing revolved around him when he left the show. We thought there was no really real reason to watch anymore. But now that he's back, we got to see how his story ends. So I'm just
Finish
excited.
the story, Rick.
The first episode was okay, kind of slow, but they need to build stuff up because it's been so long. They're trying to build up these new characters from this new place where he's been, and it ended very good though. So that's, excited for next week already.
Oh, okay, cool. So they're gonna come out episodically on the
Yeah.
on TV, or is it
Yeah,
on
it's
the
on
app?
AMC.
Oh, okay, fantastic, fantastic. How about an hour long, probably?
Yeah, the first episode is like an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Skipping past the commercials is like an hour or something.
Yeah. No, that's solid. That's solid. I'll have to dive back in. The problem with me with The Walking Dead is if I retry and I get back into it, I was convinced that honestly season one might be even like honestly one of the greatest seasons of television ever. Like honestly, it's a very
I
solid,
mean,
just
yeah.
overall not too much. There was only what 6 episodes in that first season of The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
and I mean again, fantastic. Mwah, chef's kiss.
It was one of the
Um,
most popular shows at the
yeah,
time. It was that and the Game of Thrones. It was like were you watching Walking Dead or are you watching Game of Thrones? They were both
basically.
so popular.
Yeah. I even took like a bit, I guess, a risk because I'd never even seen an episode and I had bought the first season on DVD right away. I'm just like, let me give this a try. I mean, it's fantastic and it's 20 bucks at the time. I think 25 bucks. So I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. So I watched. I'm like, this is now my life. So that I mean, again, my problem is I get into it and I want to restart it, but I always get back to the meeting with the governor. That's always the scene. That's always the season. It's like season 5, and like he has a sit down with Rick, and then all that the craziness transpires afterward. After that, I'm like, oh my god. And again, I just fall apart right there. It's like again, season like I don't know. It's a tough one. And then I get back in. They're already in the prison, or they're coming back. And then
Hmm
that's when I for sure lost it. That's when I for sure fell off. So I've missed a
There's
ton.
definitely there's some more stuff worth watching for
Yeah.
sure. Some
And that's
crazy
yeah,
shit
that wasn't
happens.
that wasn't their fault. That was me. That was all me. Like I said, that's not them. So I'm just personally I'm gonna have to get back into it. I might just restart again, honestly, from the beginning. Might as well.
It's an amazing show. I mean, my
Yeah.
dad, it's so hard to get him to watch stuff sometimes, but I mean,
He's a tough customer. But
yeah,
I do that I do like that he enjoys listening to this every now and again, so I
he
appreciate that.
does.
I
He
appreciate
does.
that.
And The Walking Dead, I told him about it for a couple days. Like, you gotta check this out, Dad. You'll love it. Zombies and stuff. And I really thought that he'd be a fan, and he eventually checked it out. And we watched like the first two seasons in like 2 days. I mean, he was like, he just kept wanting to watch the next episode. So it was just awesome being like, hell yeah, my dad loves this show now too.
Oh yeah,
It's,
you
it
need
was
him
just
up.
it was a great family thing too. Just my brother, whenever he would come in from college, or he would just come in for the weekends just to watch Walking Dead with us, and it was a love that show
Oh, I
always.
remember. Yeah, we'd be playing ball or something like that, and you like, all right, I gotta go. It's Walking Dead time.
Yeah, I would leave if we were
Yeah,
doing something on Sunday. I would be
yeah,
like, I gotta go home. It's
yeah,
Walking Dead, man.
yeah. Oh, you had that was the thing. That was the spot. That was the tradition. I can respect that. That's awesome.
It definitely ran its course for a little too long. I wish it ended more. I wish it had a better ending, but I mean, hope Rick is finally going to get a proper ending. I hope
There
so.
you go.
That's all that I care about.
There you go. That's yeah. Care about exactly that. The most important character, at least in your at least in your opinion. So there you have it. Rick Grimes back on the small screen, on the TV screen. But there you go. Back to hopefully this isn't a democracy anymore. Back to a couple more. Just one final appetizer, but back to some sports. Court storming. Court
Mm.
storming, court storming. A valued tradition or a thing of the past? If anyone hasn't seen, Kyle Filipowski got ran up on, I suppose, but also kind of, if you look at it, initiated some contact. Ended up hurting his ankle. And then today it's reported it's his knee. And then tomorrow it's probably going to be his wrist. And then it'll be something else. But he'll most likely end up playing. So Kyle Filipowski, potential NBA, draft lottery pick, or at least in the first round for some are projecting, ends up getting run up on, and now it's the talk of the town. Court storming this, court storming that. Should it even be a thing anymore? Should it be allowed? How many rules should be placed upon this? Should these kids be thrown in jail for for storming the court? My question to you, after all that, after Duke losing to Wake Forest, a rival, a known rival, and again Duke being a blue blood, how could they not know that a court storming was potentially going to happen? What are your thoughts, questions, concerns on the state of court storming today in just in general? What were your takeaway from this?
Well, I viewed it as too much of an issue because people seem to be pretty respectful about it for the most part. I mean, there's never really been an issue like this until currently, where Caitlin Clark and now this guy are both been getting hit by people running on the court and potentially injuring them. So, I mean, in the state currently, it's not good. It does not look good. In hindsight, I guess it's not good for everyone to just be running on the court and like bumping into these professional athletes, whatnot. So if they decided to tell people not to do it anymore, I would completely understand. But it's just this, and it's really only a college thing. Like no one in professional sports really does this unless it's, I don't know, unless it's something absurdly huge, like when Kawhi hit that shot over Joel Embiid in the playoffs or something. Like, I don't, this doesn't really happen too much in professional sports.
Yeah,
So,
no, no, not at all. Exactly that. I'm still for pro court storming. The idea that just because this guy hurt his ankle, I don't want to downplay an injury, but because one guy hurt his ankle and then probably is most likely going to play the next game. I don't think banning court storming should be a thing. I don't think giving out fines is going to do anything necessarily. These are college students that are paying tuition anyways to be there. This is an exciting thing. And again, I don't know. I don't know necessarily. There shouldn't be any fine. There definitely shouldn't be any fine given out to any of the people that actually run out there. But they already have places, different leagues or whatever it is. The SEC and the ACC and the Big Ten. They all have different violations for court storming. Actually, the ACC doesn't have any. So this interaction isn't going to cost Wake Forest anything to their school, as opposed to LSU, who I think they were fined 100K not too long ago
wow.
for their court storming. So again, like the SEC is, they all take care of this differently, kind of up to them, and I feel like that's just, again, that's all their thing. It's a tradition. It's a long-standing tradition. At a
Yeah.
certain point, it should be in the back of their minds, in the back of these kids' minds, that it should be on the table as a Duke player, or if it was like a UConn, UConn's number one in the country, or fucking Kansas when they're good, North Carolina when they're good. All these blue bloods should have in the back of the mind, if they're losing when they're favorite in a rivalry game, there's going to be potential for some court storming. So, why you shouldn't really necessarily plan for it, but it should always be in the back of your mind. Be safe, always play your safety. I'm not going to go away against that, but yeah, banning it, trying to force anything on this is
Yeah,
just
I mean,
it's
you
going to
probably
be,
can't stop it.
yeah,
There's
no,
just
not
too
not at
many
all.
people.
Yeah, and anything that tries to go against it is going to be met with just the complete opposite. So, no reason to even touch it at this point. It's very unfortunate that this kid got ran up on and banged up for the time being, but It's happened a bunch of other times and no injury, and now unfortunately just basically not back to back, but two significant people have gotten banged up in these past couple court stormings just in this past year. So it's unfortunate, but I don't know, man. Again, someone had this really bad take that just let let them all get on the court and then have the cops surround them, almost like someone compared it to the Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones when they kind of just let them in there and then they circle up on them. Like there's not going to be that many cops to stop
Yeah, what?
500 college students all in their probably most likely in their most like athletic state they'll ever be in. So what are they gonna do again? Like it was some older like sports head that had this take. So again, it was just so out of pocket and it was just so crazy. I was just like, damn, that's it's a really bad take. Um, yeah,
That would
court
be
storm.
impossible. There's
Yeah,
no way that many police officers, like you said, are even
yeah.
around.
I can only hope, I guess it was if there's anything to it, it was a very fast court storming. I'll give them that. But again, got to have your head on a swivel. Security should have been like, hold. All right, they're good. Like everyone's off the court. All right, do what you can. Maybe like a 5 to 10 to 15 second, just meant to like, all right, we're gonna do this, but let's just wait a second. All right, no, I mean that's just not going to naturally happen. So you can wish, but you just got to be safe. You got to try what you can
Yeah,
do. I mean, like I said, it's just in the back of your mind, somehow, some way. If you're losing and you're the favorite, you should be in like, all right, they might come and fuck us up on the court. So let me just be ready. Am I out for my own safety? So I don't know. Teach their own on that one. It's gonna be tough, but hopefully, yeah, I don't think anything's really gonna come from it other than just a couple of talking heads just trying to get by until the draft gets started. That's basically all I see it as. If we're good on that, honestly, that's the apps. We can dive into some of the main juicy sports, and we got some wrestling. We got a little bit of everything today.
hell yeah, let's
All
do it.
right. Awesome. Stay in the Chicagoland area, as we usually do. This past Sunday at the United Center, Chris Chelios had his retirement ceremony. They retired his number seven, Chris Chelios. And it was, I mean, honestly, essentially a perfect ceremony. Besides the Blackhawks losing, but if they're going to lose, it was a pretty good way to lose, I suppose. They haven't really been stringing together any sort of wins, and it's not going to affect their playoff hopes. But going out in a overtime loss with Patrick Kane, uh, sending you home, that's a tough one. But again, it kind of the NHL writers they had a good one for this one. Like I said, a great speech from Chris Chelios from top to bottom. He had such a stellar career, basically between such an interesting night, a very cool night. Maybe not a coincidental night. I'm sure obviously they set this up for a reason. Chelios spent a majority of his career here in Chicago. Also, big span of his career in Detroit and on the Red Wings. They were playing the Red Wings. The Blackhawks were. First game for Patrick Kane back in Chicago, so he gets a nod. He gets a big montage. He goes out there 3 times. I think even Alex DeBrincat told him to take another nod, and sure enough, fans ate it up. They were standing and applauding for what felt like 10, 15 minutes, and rightfully so. They should have kept going and going and going. They haven't had a lot to cheer for other than some Bedard highlights. They also got that in this game. Bedard went ahead and checked Patrick Kane. It was almost like a metaphorical night. Chelios was passing the torch to Kane somewhat, and then Bedard was basically like, "Yeah, fuck that. I'm just gonna take the torch," and he's basically doing that. He's essentially doing that. So he had a goal himself. That was cool. Bedard, yeah, like I said, that nice little play on a Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane gets the final word. He gets the overtime goal. He gets the game winner. It was fantastic. Like I said, the NHL writers did everything right on that one. And now with that goal in overtime, he has officially scored a goal against every single team in the NHL now. So he's joined a handful of players Patrick Kane has with that
Wow,
last goal. So I can't think of any like a story. It was a storybook, just
it's a
whole night.
perfect ending, even though like I don't know.
like I said, it would have been fantastic for a Hawks win, but again, this was a crazy night, a crazy game. I'm very jealous. My cousin was actually at this game. Like just to be a fly on the wall in the United Center that on that night would have been fantastic. So, uh, overall, like I said, I kind of just highlighted everything. But what was your thoughts? Any takeaways from this whole ceremony, this whole game?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's just cool seeing all those old players on from those glory days, those great championships. I mean, no Tays. I think Tays was really the only one that wasn't there, but like Duncan Keith and just seeing all of
Yeah,
those.
Marin Hossa was in the stands, and
Yeah,
a lot of their of Patrick Kane's teammates were there.
great players. And I mean, yeah, like we've already mentioned, I mean, the ending for Patrick Kane, who was on the team with all those players to score the game-winning goal in the United Center. I mean, it's just, even though, like you said, the Blackhawks don't get the win, but it all culminated into a perfect ending with that goal. And I mean, it really, I don't think anyone in the United Center was really that mad about it, about them losing.
I
So
don't think so. I don't think so. And some people were also saying like they brought their either they brought their young kiddo or just some some that kind of would be able to recognize like hey like I said that passing the torch type deal like hey that was someone I was able to watch. Patrick Kane kind of was somewhat the legend of today, and now we get Bedard. God, isn't this awesome? Like such a bang 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 right back and back to back to back. So yeah, I thought it was like I said from many, oh my goodness, many generations as just
yeah, yeah.
thunder, some booming thunder right there. Hopefully our power stays on. I can still get this going.
Yeah, the
Uh,
lights flickered earlier and I got scared for a second. I hope we do not lose power here.
oh gee whiz. If anything, like I said, I'll probably flip over to the Wi-Fi on my phone and and just power through the episode. But it's getting it's it might be the eye of it now. But here we go. Like I said, that's just gonna be your eye in the sky, your weather report for now. Still powering through. Like I said, if you got any
People will
fine,
see this like a day later, the weather report. Look out
yeah,
for
I know.
rain.
Yeah, you got some rain. It's gonna be sunny as shit tomorrow, probably for the like next 2 weeks, probably.
Looking
Oh
outside like,
my,
what the fuck these guys talking
what? Yeah, exactly. Um,
about?
Actually, like I thought it was gonna be funny. I was like, yeah, I was joking all day. Like, I want to podcast outside. It's such a beautiful day. It's gonna be a good bit. Like, no, no, not at all. Would have been bad news. Yeah. So, like I said, if we're all good on the Chelios retirement, the Blackhawks game itself, still stay in the Chicagoland area. We can focus on some baseball. We can focus on Cody Bellinger signing 3 years, 80 million with a couple opt-out deals on the player's side of things for him. So that's pretty fantastic. Like I said, I was giving our group chat some guff, obviously to the Cub fans, obviously to Bill, who was saying this is a good deal, and I was like, overpaid, paid too much. No, I was just trolling, honestly. This is a good deal on both sides. Uh, Good deal for him in the sense that he's gonna get paid. I think it was structured 30, 30, 20. So he's gonna get a lot on the front end. So like I said, he can have a solid year, get paid, and then if he does well, opt out and restructure a contract, either stay in Chicago again or go somewhere else. So it's all on the positive side. If he has a shit down year, and this is because this was an outlier season for him last year for the Cubs, not too bad, not too shabby, considering that Teoscar Hernandez is getting paid pretty similar. So this is a pretty even keel. So in my mind, like I said, a win-win for Chicago and for Bellinger, not too shabby. What were your thoughts just really quickly on a deal that was made at like, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, our time?
Yeah, I mean, this was a big thing for the Cubs fans. They've been waiting to see if he would stay or what would go on with him. So I feel like they get what they wanted and then some, a good deal, and you get a chance to just keep seeing him cook it up over there in Wrigley. So the Cubs didn't really lose too much, and they're gonna just be hoping to take the division this
Yeah.
year.
They become the odds-on favorite once again. They were tied at plus 185 with the Cardinals over on DraftKings, but now they become the odds-on favorite at plus 180. Brandon Crawford was also just recently added to the Cardinals, so maybe that might influence a couple things. I think that adds a little bit of juice to the Cardinals roster, but overall, Bellinger adds a lot to the Cubs. It answers a lot of questions for the Cubs. He's another lefty bat. He can play first base and he can play center field and he can even can DH even if they need him to on a day like that if they just need a little bit of rest but somewhat still want to get his bat out there. Uh, I think I said win-win for the Cubs and for Bellinger. Uh, the question, just like I said, like I don't want to be a troll in this. What if I sound like I'm asking this one, but just as the outside looking in, like making sure that this wasn't like was this an outlier season, or is MVP Cody Bellinger back? That will be the question going forward for the remainder of the season. That can be possibly figured out within the first couple of months, or it might take a little bit. We'll see how this goes. So he's getting into spring training, getting in there a little late, but he'll get a couple at bats. And like I said, it's not too bad. So one of a few Scott Boras clients to get in there before I guess spring training is even over with. So good for him. Good for the Cubs. Overall, I mean, we can kind of
I
take the
th
time. Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
yeah, it's just regardless, I feel like he likes the situation, what he's in, so maybe he's comfortable and yeah, maybe it's just gonna all work. It's all gonna fit. It fits for him now. So like you said, we'll see how the season goes for them going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, I think Cubs. I went ahead and took them to win the division a little while ago. So the odds have
Hmm.
not changed. Uh, the only other team that I think can maybe give them some fits have been, and a lot of other people are kind of agreeing. The Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds sitting at plus like 340 to win the division. They were close last year. They kind of trickled off a little towards the end with some tough matchups and just not a lot of veteran presence, but a full season from Ellie De La Cruz, along with a couple other key at bats. I think that could be pretty solid for a team right there. Also, getting Hunter Green back on the pitching side of things. That's really the big question. It's going to be their starting rotation, but that's also a big question kind of for the Cubs. If besides Justin Steele, is Kyle Hendricks is 89 is an 89-mile-an-hour fastball going to be good enough to 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 deal with the entire year? What are you going to get from the new Japanese player that they went ahead and added? I guess I don't want to butcher the name, but if it was Shotomingo, I like I said, it's not in front of me right now, so I don't have it. Uh, Highly doubt that you're gonna get anything fantastic from. Oh Jesus Christ! Well, that's unfortunate. I can't remember the other name, but Jordan, or I think Wicks is also pretty out. Good case for them. The at bats were there. The thing was there. I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'll what are your thoughts really quick on just the Cubs? I'll save a ton of it because we're gonna try and have Bill on next week, and we're gonna try and do a big
Yeah.
lead in. I think we called it the lead off back on the Degenerates podcast not too long ago. So yeah, well, any quick thoughts on the Cubs? Does this beef it up? Does this kind of secure them winning the division in your mind?
Yeah, I think with the state of how the division is currently, they can definitely take the division. I mean, I don't think that they're a team right now that's like, oh, we're maybe gonna have a chance of winning. Like they can win. That's why they're trying to sign these players or keep the team how it was last year. Because I mean, they played very well. They had a chance of playing of making it far, but I mean, like the pitching didn't really improve too much, so that was one of their big issues last year. So they may still have some problems with that, but as a fan, for the Cubs fans, you always just have to hope that it works out. I mean, that's all you can really do as a fan. You just have to hope that the people in the front office and those that make these decisions constructed the best team possible to get put on the field. So that they could have done with what they had. So it's good that they kept Bellinger. I mean, they still have crucial pieces on that team now. Like they got Dansby Swanson and these great players. So I think they'll be able to definitely win the division. for sure. I mean, the Brewers lost some good players, losing Corbin Burns. The Cardinals, yeah, they signed that Crawford. How you doing? He won't do nothing. He's one man. He can't help them win everything. And Reds, they were a feisty team for sure. Like you said, they'll be the one issue I think really will be the Cubs and the Reds probably going back and forth this year for that division. But I think it's the Cubs this year. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a couple. I mean, I would say Cardinals also have a little bit of beef in their pitching rotation. You know, Lance Lynn, not a big fan of him no longer. You know, I think he's just kind of throwing some meatballs, some fastballs, and begging guys to just hit home runs off of him. But Sonny Gray, you know, he was a Cy Young runner up last year. They added him into the rotation. We'll see how that goes, but maybe could potentially be talking to Jordan Montgomery, but not entirely sure on that side of thing. Um, they can give them a run for their money. I think the Reds are the sleeper, if you want to say so, right there. It could be very, very, very interesting. I'm kind of with you. I think the Brewers are kind of on their way out. But honestly, a big thing that I haven't mentioned just yet in this, at least in this go around, was just how important Craig Counsell is. Craig Counsell is just maybe one of the best managers going on in the sport in MLB today. So I think just adding him and getting rid of Ross, and while Ross he was a good player coach, he was a good guy to have in that locker room. He just wasn't really good with the technicals. He wasn't really good putting lineups together. Really, really hampered his bullpen. I think Council's going to be able to get you just more wins, just adding at least 5 to just 7 wins based on how he manages games, how he's going to take care of that bullpen, how he's going to take care of lineups every single day. Just making the right X's and O's calls is gonna add at least just a handful of wins right there for you. So that's a huge thing, along with the actual talent that you were able to retain. I think the Cubs are going to be in a very, very nice spot as a pain. You know, it doesn't pain me to say that as a White Sox fan. I'm matured. I can very much honestly say that it's much better to have at least one team that's has a chance at fighting some, as opposed to no teams that are just all sitting in the dark, all pissed off because exactly that, because their teams fucking suck. So
Um,
I think that's a nice little thing to get there. Like I said, good for them. Still able to potentially add. They've been saying Matt Chapman. Yeah, that's potentially on the table. There you go. That might be the next add to the Cubs. So we'll stay tuned on that one. Cubs so far so good in spring training. They've been stringing together a couple of wins. So good for them. Uh, for good, we can move. Oh, excuse me. For good, we can move on over to the White Sox side of things.
hmm.
Not looking the best. Not feeling the best on this one at all. The starting lineup is, well, they're there. They're trying. I guess the big question, no need to beat around the bush, besides the fact that the Vegas is putting them well down and out. They're plus 4,000 to win the division. Very dead last to win the division. Anything? Don't say never. That division is really shitty.
We were the
Uh,
favorites. Like years, like that's
favorite, not only favorites to win the division, top 5 to win the World Series. And now you're fighting to even stay afloat above teams like the A's and the Rockies, who
hmm.
you look at those rosters, those are barely MLB rosters. I apologize, but my goodness, they are fucking atrocious. Those are bad, bad teams. And now here are the White Sox in that same boat. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I was thinking about this the other day, and uh, the team did it even before I was even able to say it. I had a feeling that the White Sox, a lot of games, I'm just gonna be like, well, at least they're not. At least they broke up the no hitter, and sure enough, they were getting no hit until the ninth in a spring training game against the Diamondbacks. Finally, uh, I forgot who was even able to break it up, and like I said, and I think an 8 1/3. I think it was they almost took them to almost an out deep in the ninth before a hit was able to take place. It's just going to be a matter of that. Like, just can the White Sox just not manage to get no hit that day? That's going to be the goal every single day. Don't get no hit. At least it wasn't a no
Awesome.
hit. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's not good. That's not what you want to hear. 62 and a half, 63 and a half is the wins, the overall over under for wins for the White Sox. Again, atrocious. I'm going to take the over on that just because I'm going to take the Hawk Harrelson approach. You win 60 games, you lose 60 games, and then what you do with those other 60 games is going to be what's really important. So take that into consideration. Don't do the math. Uh, so if that's the case, I'm gonna roll with the 60 with the over on that one. But it's gonna be just a matter of exactly that. Like I said, can this team just manage not to get no hit as they trade off most likely all of their talent? Dylan Cease will be gone soon, unfortunately. Luis Roberts gonna be on the table. I would think Andrew Vaughn's probably going to be dumped off, unfortunately, just because I like him and they get rid of things that I like. Uh, it'll be a season of Nicky Lopez, Gavin Sheets, God,
Oh my.
Andrew Benintendi. Yeah, no, this is not. I'm not looking forward to anything at all. I mean, I guess, like I said, if I really want to spotlight some nice things, it's gonna be Garrett Crochet, who had a nice start today. Actually, he struck out Shohei Ohtani in the spring training game, so that was cool. If they can get him into the starting rotation somehow, some way, that'll be cool. I'll be looking to see what Colson Montgomery is bringing to the table. I think he has a nice opportunity. He came in for a pitch hit. He had two RBIs in the day today. How you doing?
Mhm.
While they're not stringing, not they're, while they're not going to be stringing together wins, it is going to be, exactly, individual performances is what's going to be the focus. So between Garrett Crochet for me, Colson Montgomery, maybe the stars, whoever's left. Like I said, I would love to stay focused on Cease, Robert, and maybe even Vaughn, but I think at least two of those three names are going to be gone. So what exactly? I mean, Moncada, Eloy. Uh, will they be able to keep their trade value up? Will they play all season long? Is this even going to be viable? Will they stay relevant in any sort of way possible? I can only hope so. There is as much as everyone wants to shit on them, there is somewhat a structure of them to be not a winning team, but just not to be as embarrassing as everyone's is planning them out to be. So get in there, fucking play your heart out every single way. I know Pedro Grifol, he's an awful manager, but he's trying. I can at least I respect the trying, but it's kind of in a cringe way. He's made up some sort of little slogan, play fast, and fast is an acronym for something, or is that an act? What's an act? Alliteration. I don't. I'm so bad with that shit. When it breaks down in when each letter stands for something else, and fast is like,
Okay.
yeah, like yeah, exactly that acceleration, and then he's got a whole thing for it. So I don't. Hopefully they buy into that, but I don't know. It's gonna be he's slowly looking like a puppet to me, and it's
Oh,
not good. Not good. So Pedro Grifol gotta bounce back in some sort of way. It doesn't look like he's gonna do so. I've been talking a little bit too long on these guys. What are your thoughts, questions, concerns on the White Sox? Who are you gonna be focused on this year? Because like I said, pretty glass half empty, quarter empty, or quarter full at this point.
yeah, I mean, Andrew Vaughn will definitely be a bright spot of the team. I feel like he's been a young player that's just been getting better and better as it's going on, as it's gone on. I've got a Andrew Vaughn jersey, so always been a fan of him. I mean, you've
Yes,
already
sir.
mentioned these players, but yeah, I mean, Luis Robert, had a chance of winning MVP last year. He's a very good player. We'll obviously love to see him continue to play well and in the stumps or fire. It's like that picture where it's like the Lamborghini or the Ferrari in the trailer
Yep.
the trailer park. And yeah, that's what he is basically. So it's great to have a player like him at least because you always want a superstar on your team. So it's nice to have someone like Luis Robert. At least you can, whenever he's up to bat, you always have that feeling like, oh, we got Luis Robert now. Come on, we can get a home run or get a double or something. Uh, but other than, I mean, there's some just bad spots on our team. It's going to be rough throughout the year.
Yeah. I
But we
mentioned
just have
Nicky Lopez. I mean, but he's a bench second baseman. That's second base is still wide open. Gavin Sheets playing right field doesn't sit right. Right field's gonna be wide open. It's still some key spots on this team. I haven't even
yeah.
mentioned Michael Kopech. Like, can he get his head out of his ass? I'm sorry to say it, but he has all the talent. But can he just not be just mentally fragile and get in there and make the starts and be as dominant as he can be? Because the 5 wins, the 5 games that he actually did win, he looked good. Can he get in there and not get blown up right away and like have those like, get in there for 2 innings and give up 5 runs? Like, no, he needs to get in there for at least 5 or 6 innings and hold at least them to maybe just two. Like Michael Kopech needs to be the solid number two or potentially number one if Dylan Cease is going to get traded off. So that
Hmm.
was, yeah, still a lot of questions on this team. A lot of questions on this team. A lot of people that are there. Not I was gonna say necessarily they shouldn't be there, but they're there, they're occupying space. There could be people that can also come in and take those jobs. There are a lot of jobs that are wide open for the White Sox. I
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
We're rightfully so the worst team in this division. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's we just are missing so many pieces, and we just have to see how it goes. We have to hope and pray that they can get some wins. It's just gonna, I mean, it's gonna be similar to last year, but worse. So
Yeah.
it could, I mean, just
I
hopefully
mean,
just,
yeah, Max Stassi starting at catcher doesn't sound good. Nicky Lopez and Paul DeYoung in the infield. That's not appealing to me. Gavin Sheets, it's good that he's a lefty. I would value him more at maybe playing DH as long as he doesn't strike out hardcore, but he's going to. Uh, can't have him out there. Oscar Colas is most likely going to place him there, but it was Bruce Levine that I was listening to on either 670 or ESPN on the radio the other day, and basically saying like, "Hey, I've never seen a kid go from being, he was basically he was listed as the Cuban Otani, and he gets up to the major league level, and it looked like he's never played defense ever in his entire life. He completely forgot how to play defense in baseball, and that's kind of what happened. Didn't know how to run up and like approach a ball. Couldn't really even play some of them. He's kind of straight up losing them in the light sometimes. So Oscar Colas, hopefully he figures it out on the bat side of things. He's a speedy guy, but definitely on the defensive side of things, he needs to figure it the fuck out because right field is wide open. If he can figure it out, that's his position. Um, Again, wide open positions. Paul DeYoung, maybe he can spark a comeback and maybe have that chip on his shoulder type mentality. But again, shortstop's wide open, second base is wide open. Their
hmm.
starting positions are here. Someone step up and fucking want to play for the White Sox and just take the job. Like, I don't want, no, never mind. You know who I'm talking about. Take the brass ring and God, just take it. Damn it. Just that's what someone has to do. But don't do all the extracurriculars with all that. So, with that being said, we're gonna try and have Bill on next week. So, Bill, if you're listening, make sure you clear up your schedule. We're gonna be talking. We're gonna try and do our leadoff type thing where we break down the divisions, break down the who can win them. Maybe look at some player individual stats, along as some team over unders, some stuff like that, and maybe take a World Series flyer. Huh? Maybe we'll take a look at that. Exactly that. How much is a White Sox World Series ticket gonna be?
Oh my
It's
God.
gonna be it's gonna be nice when I put $5 on it, and then you guys are all gonna look stupid. Uh, so I know, like I said, we're gonna have still a couple more opportunities to really break down the White Sox as the time goes by. Like I said, this is nice opportunity. Also next week to, like I said, get a deeper insight on the Cubs. Like I said, Bill is more of the Cub guy, but I mean, I think we're just gonna have to unfortunately dabble in that on this side of things if we're gonna have a chance of just talking baseball at all this summer. So might as
Yeah.
well. I'm not gonna put on any Cub gear, but metaphorically, we'll have to put on our Cub hat and talk about these games. So talk about that team. So that's the baseball side of things. I got a couple of NFL stories, and then we can get into some wrestling that'll finish off the day. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the rain has maybe cleared up. The rainy days do. I don't wanna get copyrighted. Oh yeah, there we go. The rain. Sorry. Uh NFL side of things, a couple of stories there. Some franchise tagging, some Swifties all up in a ruckus, but gotta start off with a very interesting one. Cam Newton got jumped at a 7-on-7. My goodness, absolute bedlam. They're jumping on the boxes. Three dudes from the video went ahead. It looked like went ahead and attacked Cam Newton at the 7-on-7. I believe, Cam Newton he has a 7-on-7 team or some sort of company franchise, not a franchise, but he runs it for the kids, for the kiddos. This was a rival 7-on-7 or just an opposing 7-on-7 team. Again, the video, they don't look like 17-year-olds. They look like there's like a planned attack. Went up and just kind of, again, like I said, exactly that, attacked Cam Newton. Uh, they lost. They all lost in the video. Absolutely nuts. And you know how I know they lost? Take a look at Cam Newton's hat. Still very much on his head at the end of the day. It's kind of like that. I was kind of thinking like a Red Dead Redemption thing. Like he didn't even lose his fucking cowboy hat. Like it's still firmly on his head at the end of the scuffle. So three dudes went ahead and jumped Cam Newton
To
and
be fair, it
lost.
looks like his hair is going through his hat. But
To be fair, yeah, I know, but, but that's still crazy. Like three dudes went ahead and jumped Cam Newton, and they basically essentially lost. Uh,
oh, he was so much bigger than all of
oh
them.
yeah,
You
yeah.
could just tell, like, oh my God, it's this guy playing the NFL. Like, you have no shot.
And they, like I said, they kind of had like not the high ground necessarily, but there was three of them, and they kind of got him out of nowhere, sucker punched him, and jumped him, and they had no shot, no opportunity to take down this guy. Cam Newton has been out of the league for some time, but I don't know that it was a couple of couple of lessons to be learned across the board. Hopefully for the three individuals, one, don't do that. Don't mess with Cam Newton. Maybe also for some trolls online, like, hey, maybe next time you can like, yeah, I can take on X, I can take on whoever. No, you cannot, because Cam Newton, it just proved to you that like you cannot just fuck with any like NFL player or anybody that's still kind of prime in their in their like in their health. No, you cannot. You're dumb.
No.
Uh,
You never forget the prime Cam Newton on the
yeah,
Panthers.
yeah,
It's a
exactly.
beast. He was trucking people as a quarterback.
Yeah. Someone put in the comments on this thing, he's like, dude, he took Auburn. It was literally just him. There was nobody else that was drafted into like the third round on this team, and he took him to a national championship. And you want to jump him? Wild. That's also been like my new favorite thing. It's just like you da 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 wild. Like that's like the new that's like the new phrasing of things now. That's been like my new favorite thing. But yeah, this was just a funny story. I hope Cam Newton's okay. I hope all is well and settled, and there's some sort of security that's at these 7-on-7s. That also brought in like the idea of like what would it be called, God, the lifestyle, the style of everything that comes with like in a 7-on-7 things, like a 7-on-7 parent as opposed to like a high, that was the debate, like who's like the worst type of parent or like involved in X sport, like the football parents or the baseball parents. Like if you're in like the 7-on-7 realm, like that's pretty niche, that's pretty bad, and you're gonna get some characters. And
Oh, for sure.
sure enough, yeah, you got something like this. So, yeah, like I said, hope all is well. Hope everything gets all figured out, and I hope those guys get, I guess, convicted or they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Uh,
Well,
won't go to jail, but they'll probably get sued in like civil court, obviously for attacking Cam Newton. So hopefully gets the payout there.
yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. That's that's against the law. That's assault. It's assault. Uh, yeah, no, speaking of everything, I didn't have this planned, so I know you weren't gonna have anything ready for your background, but I know some people for that Chiefs parade, the shooting, they did convict those two people. So I mean, again, hats off. Finally, you actually, the justice system actually doing something correct. That was very unfortunate for the one person that passed and the 20. I don't want to butcher this, so I want to say at least 22 people. I think it was 23 people that were injured in total. So again, I
Oh,
hope I'm not incorrect on the number, but still very unfortunate in that whole Chiefs parade. But again, glad that they were able to find the two people, and shout out to the guys that actually tackled the guy on video. That was absolutely crazy. Just those are heroes. But we're still flipping around. Still got some NFL stuff on the docket. We had some franchise tags being handed out, or kind of essentially just one. But we found out who isn't going to be getting some franchise tags, and it's making for a very interesting running back free agency class coming up. I'll list off a few names right here: Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, and Tony Pollard are just a few of the big names on the running back free agency that's going to be available. Some underliers, some other people that were named. Zach Moss is also going to be possibly available, as well as J.K. Dobbins. So also right there. I wanted to get your thoughts just on the idea of the running back free agency that's coming up. I know running back in general. We've talked about this earlier in the beginning of the season, as it's kind of just trying to getting paid was a rough go. This whole position as a whole, the past 20 years, it's been a crazy shift as it's become one of the most important positions to fill. Now it's kind of just like, oh, we can get a guy in the seventh round and he could be our starting running back. So thoughts, questions, concerns on the upcoming running back free agency class?
it's a very good one. There's a potential of all these running backs going to different teams. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's exciting as a football fan to see where they all end up and how it goes for them. But yeah, it's I can't I have some players like Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler. I mean, I can't believe that they're just letting them walk, but that's how running backs are now. Just nowadays, they're expendable. They think they can just get a new guy that can produce the same. So, but I'm sure that I mean, obviously some teams are going to sign these guys, so it'll be exciting to see how it goes down.
I'm sure a couple of these guys get back to their original teams. I'm sure maybe Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs can get back to the Raiders. I I think Barkley is actually on the move. And I know Derrick Henry kind of said his final goodbye. Maybe he goes on to the Baltimore Ravens next year. Uh, I'd be very interested in someone throughout this name or someone throughout this team for Barkley. Would you like him on the Houston Texans?
Wow. The young up and coming team, but I don't know if he wants to in the here like winning now mode. So, I mean, if you want, maybe go to the Cowboys because I think he could fit that offense pretty well too. But I
That's a
don't know.
nice one. I would pop for that one, Barkley. And it would be a divisional rival going from the Giants to the Cowboys. Oh, that would piss so many New Yorkers and Giants fans
Yeah,
off.
that'd be a upgrade, a very
It
big
would be an
upgrade.
upgrade from Pollard for sure, who had a rough go. I was just looking at some stats. Him within the 5 yard line, you might as well have just basically taken a knee. Was essentially was the equivalent. He had such a hard time in the red zone this year. So many opportunities, so many missed opportunities is what I should say.
Wow.
Uh, I think Eckler could find a new home. I think Eckler can find a new way. Come on the Bears. Come to Papa. Come on the Bears. I hopefully he's not, hopefully that ankle injury, he's past that. I think that really hampered him this year. It's still, I don't think he was able to get a full go. But with time, that can still heal up himself, and he can make it stronger with this off season. So Austin Eckler, like I said, it's not in the cards, but just personally, would love to see him on the Bears. Uh, yeah, I mean, some very solid names coming up in the running back draft class, or excuse me, running back free agency class.
The
Uh,
Cowboys are gonna get, I mean, I feel the not Tony Pollard, they're gonna get one of like Derrick Henry or Eckler or
yeah.
Barkley.
So
I just,
you're thinking the Cowboys are going to snipe one of these big names.
yeah, I mean, Jerry Jones, it's like he's done with losing, I'm sure. Like he's just in that mindset where like we need to get one of these guys now.
Yeah.
So
And you know what? I mean, the Eagles are, they're vulnerable. They're not the deadlocked number one to win the division. It might be the Cowboys to be the favorite. I haven't looked at any of the odds or anything like that, but I would put that in the good graces. I mean, if CeeDee Lamb has another season like he did last season, oof, he
yeah,
could be up there. I mean, like I said, he didn't get a full year out of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, but another year like that from CeeDee Lamb, boy oh boy, that'd be
he's
crazy.
unstoppable.
He was him and Prescott had figured to say they'd figured it out. That's an understatement for sure. Yeah, they were the number one basically duo the entire year.
Here
Uh,
we
here
go.
we go. Uh, I'm actually gonna try and pull that for the next time I go live. I'm not going live, like I said, this Thursday, so I'm gonna try for next week. So at the beginning of the show, you're gonna hear, "All right, we good on the topics. Here we go," and then I'm gonna get in the show. That's gonna be what I'm trying to do for the live show now.
Like it.
Yeah. But a name that was franchise tagged, T. Higgins. T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals. I believe he got upwards of like $21 million, so it's pretty good. Solid name, obviously, basically a wash on the season, not having Joe Burrow. He went down a little bit less than halfway through the season. But maintaining this core of Chase, Higgins, Mixon. They can maybe add. They can make. I've seen mock drafts where they've drafted Brock Bowers for the tight end position. I've also seen Brock Bowers go as high as number 9 to the Bears. So we'll see how that he's at a very wishy washy in the sense that he's gone every which way in the mock drafts, but solid job by the Bengals to maintain this core. I think it was a nice little position. I think they'll be able to restructure and actually get a long-term contract done. What were your thoughts with the Bengals able to lock down T. Higgins with the franchise tag?
Yeah, I mean he's a crucial part of the wide receiver core. A very good player, and he's proved it year in and year out. And he wanted to get paid this year, but franchise tag will have to do it for him. I don't think he'll mind staying on the Bengals. I mean they've Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and probably might lose Joe Mixon, but I'm sure they'll figure something out there.
Yeah, Mixon's been like every time I want to count him out, he actually has a good game or he has a decent little season. But I think he's expendable. They just haven't found the right running back to replace him necessarily. I don't know if this Brown guy, Chase Brown, is that his name? I believe that's the backup running back that
Okay.
they've put into play. He's shown some explosive plays. He's had that 40, a couple of 40. I think he had that 40-yard touchdown not too long ago. Or I mean, now it's been. I say that not too long ago, but during the season, it was like a little later in the season. He showed signs, but I don't think he's able to take a full load of like 20-25 carries a game like Joe Mixon has and has been able to maintain. So that's a position they might have to look into, probably might have to invest in. But I was talking to a Bengals fan that wasn't my brother, someone that actually has been paying attention to the squad a little bit longer. He's just been saying that I guess it would essentially be the defense. The defense is what the Bengals are going to have to focus on. Adding the 30 some odd $1 million to the cap. That's going to be a nice addition. Them losing Jesse Bates, the Bengals. That was basically one of the things that he keyed in on and said like, hey, he was a big part of why they struggled at times. It was a tough run in a very tough division. That's going to be the key focus for the Bengals is going to be drafting or focusing on filling in a couple defensive holes. So yeah, T. Higgins, I guess overall, like I said, locks in a very solid position on their offensive side, completely solidifies that. If you're gonna maybe argue anything, you like I said, kind of missing just on the tight end spot. I don't think Drew Sample is necessarily the answer. He's kind of a blocking tight end, but a very, very, very important piece in T. Higgins. Hopefully they can restructure and stay for the long term. Because, I mean, if I'm T. Higgins, I would want to stay there. I think Joe Burrow's a fucking winner, so I would want to stay there as long as possible. That's just me. Uh, we're gonna you get on that, get on T Higgins and just on the
Yeah.
franchise tags. Like I said, I think
Like
that was like the only big tag I could.
I think so. I looked them up earlier and that was the only one that I saw.
Well, yeah, there you go. Well, we'll keep an eye out. We'll keep an eye out for the tags. That ends very early in March. So again, a couple more days to lock down some franchise tags, and we'll see how that goes.
I like to
Uh,
imagine that they have actual tags or stickers and they just
yeah,
walk
they're
past
there.
them and slap it on their back and T. Higgins is like, "What's this?" Like, "Oh, your franchise tags."
They
Just so you know,
treat
you're
them like
locked in.
cattle, basically. Here you go. Just like what the hell?
Like you're at dinner with them and it's like, yeah, that was fun. Just like, it's like, what is this? Oh, franchise tag.
Are you serving him like Pineapple Express? Like what's going on? That's my friend. You just got franchise tagged. You son of a.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fantastic. Like I said, just got back into the whole renaissance of older movies. I guess I can say now because they came out in the mid 2000s. So been catching up with the gal on some classic films now. So
Love
gonna
it.
try gonna get into Step Brothers, who just watched like I said, just watched Pineapple Express not too long ago. So that was fine. Or Super
Amazing.
Bad as well. Gonna get that. Hopefully some Knocked Up is and also uh that's gonna be the goal. Get the palette.
Basically every Will Ferrell movie ever.
Essentially, yeah. We'll throw kicking and screaming in there eventually as we get down the line, even though it's
I
not
was
as.
watching Blades of Glory the other day. That's a great one too.
Yeah, it's
Just
fun. It's fun. It's a fun one. It's
they're
exactly
all
that.
great.
Let's see. I had this one, but it's I don't know if you want to touch it. It's up to you. The Swifties are not really happy that they signed that new punter, Ariza. So
I didn't see too much about that, honestly.
okay. Yeah, I mean it's a hairy subject, and I don't want to step on too many toes. So it's out there if you're interested. Take a gander. Again, if you want to add fuel to your pro or con Swifties, this is maybe the story for you. But some Swifties are not too keen on the new punter. Like I said, Matt Ariza, who was involved in sexual assault, I believe. So he was again cleared of it. So do what you will, do as you may. If he's still in the league, you gotta just assume that they did their due diligence. So I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah, you know what? On that stance, we'll just not wipe our hands clean. It's like I said, you at home do your homework. If you want us to take part in that situation, you can. Uh, quickly a smooth transition before we finish off on this wrestling. I didn't write it down. Also, bad on me. We still got a couple minutes though. But what did you see that Pistons Knicks game? Did you see that no call? What
Yeah,
was
I
what were
did.
what was your takeaway on that? That was egregious. I just like I said, just to get a nice little repalette, just a nice little cleanser right there. What were your thoughts on that no call? Ridiculous.
I mean, I don't understand how the refs can get worse always. I mean, like people complain about them and they never do anything to justify the horrible calls they make or like they haven't added anything to make refs like not want to do those kind
Nothing.
of
There's
calls. Like
no
they don't get,
accountability.
yeah, they don't get fined or they don't get like I saw like the refs apologized earlier today. They're like, yeah, we missed it. It's like, oh, for sure, we lost, dude. So
Yeah.
it's like that does nothing for us. But it's like if the coach says something bad about the refs, they'll get fined immediately. Or it's so stupid. I mean, they literally have so much. They have so much power, and
Yeah.
it's just people that don't take it seriously at
Yeah, and
all.
all the respect to the Pistons coach for just being straight up, but just admitting like forget all the fines that he's probably going to get for just talking the way that he did in the press conference, like, yeah, that was bullshit. That was absolutely ridiculous. And then to let them play, to basically let them hand fight and check each other, and then to get that call on the other end, immediately get a foul after that made basket. That's ridiculous. That's
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
insane. And I don't want to be that guy, but I did hear this, and like I said, I would have to double check and make sure it's actually factual. This game wasn't supposed to be in New York. Originally, this game was scheduled to be in Detroit, but the league saw that there wasn't a balance of Madison Square Garden games for the Knicks. So they gave that game to New York. They gave that game to play in Madison Square Garden. So another one to add to the, is it fixed? What are we doing here? Come on, like you gotta if you come on if you're gonna
Knicks
play
money
dirty.
line.
If you're gonna play dirty, if you're gonna play dirty, maybe scrub your tracks on the way out a little bit. I don't know. It's a tough ask. Uh,
You lose.
yeah, exactly. The Pistons lose again. It's that's just such a shame. I mean, that was another same comparison. I literally saw the exact same meme today. It was Cade Cunningham, and he was the Lamborghini, and then he was in like a dirty field, like that was just supposed to be the Detroit Pistons. Like, yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough, and like he just like someone else brought up like he doesn't get fouled. Like he's a young player. He's most likely going to be a superstar in the league. He just isn't getting calls like, how Kevin Durant and I don't know if you saw this. The Lakers, did you see the Lakers plus minus on free throws?
No.
They're like in the 300s, while the next team is the Suns. They're like plus 180 in free throws plus
Oh
minus.
my.
It is egregious. And again, you can account that for, LeBron James most likely going to the paint every other possession. Anthony
Yeah,
Davis
him
also
and
work.
AD,
Yeah.
yeah.
Him working down low. They get banged up, they get an and one, they go to the line. Okay, I can accept that. But to be like another 120 free throw attempts, made free throws above the next team smells a little funny, smells a little fishy. Again, you got to look out for stuff like that. It's a little
Mm.
crazy. And on the flip side, like I mentioned, you see the Pistons, they're not getting dick. And I understand they're not must watch in any sort of way. They're the Pistons. It's gonna be a struggle for a
Yeah,
while
they're
for
an
that
easy
squad.
team to fuck with because they suck and they have young players, and the young players usually don't get as much respect as someone like
Exactly.
LeBron James. So,
Exactly. You're hitting it right on the head with that one. Exactly. So it's a tough go, and exactly the Pistons are trying. That's the biggest part. They are trying. It's very. I agree with the head coach. It's hard to sit there and tell them, just keep trying to do your thing. It's gonna go the right way. When it's blatantly obvious that they're getting fucked. Like there's no nice way of saying it. They're getting. It, what's it? Nuts and bolts. They're getting screwed, my friend. Like that's it. That is it. Just very
nuts and bolts, we got screwed.
yeah. That's one of my favorite calls ever. So like I said, that was a good impromptu little little NBA section. You get to finish off with some wrestling.
Let's do it.
Cap it off with some wrestling side of things. Uh, let's see. Let's start off with this 2K drama. How about the 2K24 roster? 2K20 WWE 2K24. It's dropping soon. The roster came out, and CM Punk was nowhere to be found on the original lineup, as well as Jade Cargill. Uh, Also Nia Jax. I'll throw that in there. But he came out on his story. He was kind of making a big deal about it. And I don't know if he was just bored or just trying to get some traction. Either way, excuse me. Oh my god. Either way, I think he did exactly that. But it was no mystery. It was no surprise. He's going to be in the first set of DLCs, most likely the most expensive DLC. It was a good DLC, it's the most expensive DLC. Horrible Trump impression. I'm not going to do that ever again. I apologize. But he's gonna be in the DLCs. I think he's in it's called Punk and ECW pack or some shit like that. So it'll be him, Sandman's in there, couple other ECW names. Um, So yeah, like I said, it was no shock that he was going to be the first set of the DLC. Or if not, like you said, if you're a person like myself and you're going to most likely get the game, just go into the create a character section, go on the community, and just download everything for free.
Yeah, people go crazy on there.
Yeah, and sometimes they make it better than the game, than the actual people that do it. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just something to consider. When the game's already going to be, an arm and a leg, no reason to add more. I even said it on the post that I saw it on. I'm like, I miss the days when you unlock things in games and you didn't just buy everything. When playing the storyline meant something because you were building towards something, not just creating your character, becoming the world heavyweight champion. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, I want to be able to unlock, I don't know, again, Sabu or the Dudley Boys or fucking whoever else is
Hmm.
gonna be available, Dusty Rhodes and the different variations of Dusty Rhodes and all that fun jazz that came with, you know, the pride that came with beating a game, actually, not like I said, just Trish Stratus is available. Here's $25. Like, what's the fuck? What's fun is that? Like, what are we doing? Like, again, I just thought that was there, but all the DLC packs are there. All get your credit card ready, and hopefully you enjoy the game. So, are you gonna be buying 2K24?
Yeah, take
Yeah.
my. I'm sorry. I've always loved these games,
No,
and
the
they've
game
had.
rightfully so. It's gonna be good gameplay, I'm sure. And they've
Oh
added a
yeah,
bunch of new things. I'm just always opposed to the DLCs.
yeah, and that's rightfully. I can understand that, and I'm sure that in their 40 years of WrestleMania or whatever, that's the showcase mode. I'm sure that you'll be able to unlock like certain maybe like outfits or certain characters within that. 'Cause I know that they've
That
done that
usually
in
is the
previous
case.
games, but. Yeah, I'm very excited for this. Like we've mentioned it before in a previous episode, but yeah, they're adding some new matches, adding back matches like the casket match and special referee, and just that showcase mode will be really cool. And the roster is one of the biggest ever. And I mean, they just had to add CM Punk. I mean, not add CM Punk, so
Yeah.
he gets added in there, and they have some pretty good DLC, even though, I would like to, like you said, work for these players and work for the wrestlers, but they've got some good DLC for this game, so I'll give them all of that. I'm excited for it. I'll be pre-ordering it for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I got it right here. So the first DLC coming out May 15th. It'll be Punk, Bubba Ray Dudley, Devon Dudley, the Sandman, Terry Funk, and then in the
Wow.
My Faction content, you'll be able to get Paul Heyman as the ECW manager, as well as some just superstar cards. I'm reading this from a post from JC underscore Figs. It's one of the actually one of the action figure posts that I follow,
Yeah,
but he
okay.
follows up on a bunch of wrestling content in general. The second DLC will be the Post Malone and Friends pack that'll come out June 26th. This is Post Malone, Sensational Sherry, Mosh and Thrasher from the Headbangers, the tag team. Excuse me. Honky Tonk Man, Jimmy Hart as a manager, and then more My Faction content, just more superstar cards. Oh my goodness. July 24th is the Pat McAfee pack. Pat
Uh,
McAfee is included, playable co-host, so stay tuned for more info there, it says. And then more My Faction content, same thing. Uh, Finally, all the way into September 20th. September 20th, you got to wait for Jade Cargill, Nia
jeez.
Jax, Michelle McCool, Carlito, Kyrie Sane, Lyra Valkyrie, Dragon Lee. That's going to be the September 20th DLC drop. And I think there's one more. Yeah, there's one more. The WCW pack, November 13th. DDP, Iron Sheik, Mr. Perfect, Great Moodle, and Lex Luger. And again, more My Faction content. So,
They have these spread out way too far apart.
yeah, between May 15th and September 20th, November, excuse me. It's from that's
The
that's
game
that's a
comes out
stretch.
next month. You want us to wait like 8 months for DLC characters? That's insane.
I mean, I don't know the hardcore DDP fan that needs him now, but you're not waiting until November 13th. You're gonna download him. Someone's gonna
Yeah, I mean,
make him. You're
someone
gonna
will just
download
make
him.
these characters
Yeah.
anyway.
Like it's kind of crazy that they're gonna spread it out, and all of these are gonna be what, $20 plus,
That's
if
why you
not
got to
more.
get the season pass so you can just get
And
them
you
all for
say
free.
that, and you say that, and it's a fine deal, but it's just another additional add-on that shouldn't fucking be there, in my opinion. So
That's
that
how
is
they
if
get
that is
you.
that is the route. That's the way to go if you're gonna get it at all. But goddamn, like, come on, it's
Because if
just
you
like,
don't get the season pass, then you're really gonna get fucked.
oh
If you
yeah,
want the DLC and you do end up getting all the DLC without the season pass, then you're gonna pay way more than you really should be.
yeah. And then again, I say that you like I say the solution is just download it, but then don't you get a capped out number of downloaded characters?
No, I think it's only per day or
Okay, okay.
something.
All right, if that's the case, then that's fine. Okay, then I will hold my tongue on that one. Yeah, so
I
get
guess
ready.
you really the big things is like 'cause the character models would just be somewhat better than the community creations, but you just get like their actual entrances and Titantrons and some music, I
Yeah,
guess,
you
with the
just won't get
DLC.
generic. Yeah, you won't get the generic entrance where, CM Punk, Wade Barrett, FTR, Kenny Omega all have the same, like, walk in like that where they
Yeah,
just
like you're
raise
actually
one
cult of
arm.
personality, and
Yeah,
that's what people want.
exactly. So when people are going crazy in the community spot, like, it'll look good and everything, but it just won't be the most detailed. So to each their own on that, of course, as it always is, basically with everything. Yeah, like I said, eventually I'll probably end up getting the game when it's, half off or something like that. I'll still probably indulge, but yeah, it's just not a must for me. Just considering, like I said, it's, yeah, when you got to buy, when it's a pay to play essentially for some, in some aspects, I immediately just can't just cop out. So yeah, that's just me. But we had some results. We had a pay-per-view or a PLE. My goodness, on be if we were in AEW, I get fined by Matthew and Nicholas Jackson for that one. But
Oh,
WWE side of things, PLEs. We had Elimination Chamber. Did you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning for this?
no.
Okay, neither did I. I didn't really see a ton of footage. I didn't see the matches themselves. So I'm not going to dive in on the performances and in all which way. I did think that it was insane that Cody got the pyro that he did for a sit down interview. The entire country of Australia was essentially on fire because Cody Rhodes came out for the Waller effect.
Whoa.
Yeah. Um that yeah, there was highlights from that, but like I said, just kind of just talking about the matches and just what came about from them. Well, let's go quickly with the Judgment Day retaining over the New Catch Republic. Is that what they're called now? It was Pete Dunne
And Tyler Bate,
and
right?
Tyler Bate. I thought they were called something else, but yeah, I guess not. The Judgment Day retain. That was somewhat, in my mind, kind of setting up for we talked about this on Bad Karma Wrestling, and it kind of was what David's idea was. This is gonna set up that would have set up for WrestleMania if Priest and Balor had lost the titles. That would have opened the door for, okay, at the end of Mania, or sometime soon, most likely Damian Priest is going to cash in. But
Yeah.
with him still having the titles, that doesn't look like that's going to be the case until maybe the day of Mania, I guess now. Like, it's still on the table, it's just not very clear. It's not like right in front of our face. Did you see anything from it, or just was that a similar takeaway?
Yeah, I didn't see too much from that, but yeah, I guess he could still cash in regardless of being the champs or not,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. It just they're not really one for, I guess double or I guess tripling down in the sense that he's the undisputed. They carry around two belts for the tag team titles. Uh yeah, it's they gotta figure something out with that. Because I would much rather Damian Priest set up if he's gonna actually hold the title or cash in, make it worth something. Actually don't make it feel like a transition champion. because he's
Yeah.
actually very talented. Uh, but there you have it there. I think Rhea Naya Rhea retains the women's world heavyweight champion. And I'm again gonna have to agree with my co-host on Bad Karma. I think this is gonna be setting up for Ripley to essentially have like a Hulk Hogan, Roman Reigns style run with this title. I don't know the next time. I don't know who's gonna be able to take it off of her. Maybe if a long ways down the line, if they think Jade Cargill is gonna be the gal that does it or finally earns it, maybe that's the case. Again, maybe in about a year or two. Uh, but yeah, I don't see, especially in Perth, in Australia, Rhea Ripley was not going to lose this title.
So,
Thoughts on this one?
uh, it seemed like a good match from what I saw. But she was going. That's the one thing I saw. When I opened Twitter, I just saw a bunch of clips of her around. I was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah, I
I
don't think they
forgot it."
were mesmerized by the match.
No, I was like, I forgot Elimination Chamber was on. But I was like, oh my goodness. But good on her. She's not gonna lose in Australia in her home country. Basically, her family is front row,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, good. 'Cause she is a dominant champion, and I mean, yeah, hopefully she doesn't lose to Becky at WrestleMania. And they just cook everything up. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw on Raw, Becky Lynch had a good little spot between Dom and Rhea. Becky Lynch called Dom a kumquat live on Raw, and if you hear Pat McAfee goes, oh, what? What did she just say? So I thought that was pretty funny.
Let's
Let's go.
go.
Buy my DLC in about 9 fucking months. Oh.
I need that theme song for me. Let's
Let's
go.
go. That will be when I do create a character. That will be my theme as well. I'll steal it. Uh, but there you have it. Exactly that. Yeah, that's a nice transition into Becky Lynch winning the women's female elimination chamber. A lot of people were upset that Liv Morgan didn't get her rightful due, so that was a trend on there. Like we want Morgan, we want Liv, or whichever it was,
Uh,
or Justice for Liv, whatever. I'm not entirely
Tiffany
sure.
Stratton's better than
That
Liv
yeah, no, a lot of
Morgan.
people were saying that Tiffany Stratton had a really good showing. She got a huge pop. So I mean, good for her. Good for her. I mean, like I said, it's just the positive right there. If they're actually having some NXT talent work, yeah, fuck yeah, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah,
So it's like I said, sound like some good showings just about from everybody there. Becky Lynch winning, it's I guess that's fine, but
when Becky run its course.
yeah, exactly that. I feel like Becky again, like we're doing the Becky Lynch thing again. I feel like that should be like last resort if that's anything the case. But yeah, I mean you're gonna get a good match with Rhea and Becky. I guess that's
Yeah,
the
you don't want to see the man versus mommy.
that's a good moniker. I would be able to you'd sell me on that one for sure. Uh, Finally, we got Drew McIntyre winning the men's elimination chamber. So again, some good Twitter spots, some good. I loved him on his Twitter. He's been fantastic on Twitter as of late. He goes, I won the match, but didn't get half the pyro that Cody Rhodes got." And yeah, exactly. He wins. He will go on to face Seth Rollins at Mania. Uh, but yeah, between that, there was again Logan. I guess Logan Paul had a couple of good spots between Kevin Owens barking at him in the chamber
Yeah, he
pod.
was drawing with a marker in the pod. He's like drawing Kevin Owens stick figure of him, like fat Kevin
Yeah,
Owens.
I think that's gonna set up to be a very fun little rivalry match at Mania. That's gonna be nice. Hopefully, Kevin Owens is
No,
no,
I think it'll be because the Randy lost because Logan Paul hit him with brass knuckles. That's how Drew McIntyre won. So
but
it'll
I think they're
probably.
saying Randy got hurt.
Oh,
I think
really?
they said Randy got legitimately hurt in that match. So I'm not. I think that might be off the table. We have to wait and see.
Well, that's true. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I
Very
didn't
much.
know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Exactly. Again, who he just basically came back. So that's a bummer. Again, among the six guys that were in there, I think they got it right. You could have went with was Nakamura in there? I think Nakamura was in there, but that's a tough sell. I'll try and pull up who was all in there really quick. Uh, yeah, the women's chamber. I'm on Forbes right now, so hopefully they can tell me who was in what. And of course, as I struggle to go down there and figure it out. Yeah, I mean, obviously Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. Oh my goodness, it's still not in front of me right now. Who was all in there? McIntyre, Orton, Owens. I'm pretty sure Nakamura. Jesus, this is bugging the shit out of me. Why can't I? Okay, now I think I found it. Now I think I found it. Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles were in there, and LA Knight. I think those are the other three that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't Nakamura. So Lashley, Styles, LA Knight, McIntyre, Orton. I almost called him Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, and LA and Logan Paul. So that's the six. Those were the six. And they could have went the LA Knight route, but Knight versus Rollins, essentially two faces going up against each other. This is the way to go. McIntyre as a heel has been red hot. He's been, like I said, he's been red hot just on social media. So this was the good route. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was the good. Yeah, it was the good go. That was fine. Like I said, in terms of the match, hopefully it was a good one. I didn't necessarily I haven't checked in on that one myself just yet, but it didn't sound like it was all too bad. This past Raw, people were saying was pretty decent as well. So I have to check in and get in some highlights. So it's been pretty
Hell
solid. It's been pretty solid. Uh, oh, I didn't even think about it. We could have done basically a Revolution preview. That's been setting up, but there's still a little, we got Wednesday night Dynamite that'll kind of solidify everything,
yeah,
and that'll
maybe
just
some more
be
stuff. Some more stuff will still be added for
yeah,
sure.
I'm sure. But Revolution's been picking up. I think that's going to be the ways to go. Dynamite's going to have Will Ospreay this week,
So
and
he's gonna be at Revolution.
yeah, no, he's going up
Oh
against
yeah, he's
Takeshita.
fighting Takeshita, yeah.
Who some are saying, and I say some, but I already know who, and people already know who because I did the show with him. But my co-host on Bad Karma was saying it's a bad, opening match for him. I said the complete opposite because, it's just like it's a cold match, yeah, but that's kind of what Osprey needs. Like he doesn't need to be in a storyline right away. If he is, this is a good one to get him in. He's already technically in the Don Callis family. If he wins, he can be like, hey, you're not my voice piece. I'm my own guy. I'm Will Ospreay. I'm the fucking man. So I think that's going to be the route they end up going. And also potentially on the table, besides Sting having his last match with the Young Bucks, I think that's going to be phenomenal. The Young Bucks have been hitting on all fucking cylinders as heels. Some are saying go home heat. Some are saying change the channel heat. I think they're just being ignorant. Those are just the talking heads that want to put out articles. They're phenomenal. Nicholas and Matthew Jackson have been putting out great stuff. Uh, getting Ric Flair involved as well. That's setting up for Sting's final match. But I was getting to something else as well besides Meat Madness. Bes- besides, oh my goodness, FTR and Bullet Club or Bullet Club.
The
Blackpool Combat,
BCC, right?
yeah, Blackpool Combat Club. That's gonna be great. Damn it. I think I had yeah no I think I have Okada debuting. I think Okada's gonna show his little head there. I think that's gonna be there for sure.
Hmm.
That's just my feeling after, some were promising that, you know, Elimination Chamber was going to bring in a bunch of surprise people. And, I don't think they had anybody. I don't think they had
No.
any big surprise guests, no big debuts, no nothing like that. I'm sure if anything, I thought this would have been the time for is Buddy Matthews even in AEW? Does he have an AEW contract anymore? I thought he would have
I
showed up
think he
there, but
still is.
yeah, I think he's still there too. I think Aleister Black just got his first singles win in a while, but all over the place, all over the place. I'm trying. God, why can't I think I was onto something with that AEW rundown, but That's okay. I think I'm going with it was Will Ospreay. I think he's gonna with nerd Okada. I think he's gonna show up, and that's gonna get things rolling again. So that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
Uh, between that, Daniel Garcia and Christian, because I heard Copeland is hurt. Meat Mad. I already mentioned Meat Madness. I think that's just about it. I I don't know. Is there anything else I'm missing on Revolution? You excited, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that's all the matches there for now, but yeah, I mean it will be a great pay-per-view compared to World's End. So
Yeah, you can only hope so. I think so. AEW Revolution card. I'll pull it up just really quick before we get on out of here. That'll kind of just be our last little thing before we get going. Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy. Obviously, Samoa Joe, Strickland, and Paige in a three-way dance for the title. I'm excited for Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. I think that's been a phenomenal
yes.
build. Tony Storm might be the most red hot thing just in wrestling going on. They're just kind of slamming it together, but Eddie Kingston and Danielson for that Continental Crown champion, kind of getting the last of a full time Danielson. So you got to cherish every single moment. And then we kind of already mentioned Cage and Garcia, FTR, and Moxley and Claudio. And then Lance Archer, Wardlow, and Powerhouse Hobbs and Meat Madness.
Hmm.
I love it. I love the card. Greensboro, North Carolina. And woo, we'll be there with Ric Flair.
Woo.
It'll be a solid card. Hopefully, a solid night. And like I said, some people are saying it's got to be a redeeming time for AEW. It's been a rough go. It's been a rough patch for sure. But I mean, what do you expect? But it's still a startup company essentially for some, and I don't know. When people are constantly fucking hating on it all the time, what can you do? I can only hope that, like I said, that the talent overcomes everything else in it. So I'll leave it with
Yeah.
that. I'm loving with everything that AEW is doing. Any other final thoughts before we get on out of here with on the wrestling side of things?
No, I'm good on my end.
Coolio, Coolio. If that's the case, then we'll go ahead and we'll end episode 56 in there. Check, please. Thank you. Very cool. Shout out to everybody. Like I said, that graduation was phenomenal. I just wanted to, again, tip my cap to everyone there that helped out the students, the faculty, everything was phenomenal. But like I said, plugs wise, before we get out of here, Blow the Whistle Mondays and Wednesdays, 2 to 4. Check it out on twitch.tv/Sportstown Shy. We got Bad Karma Wrestling on Fridays. We go live around 11:30 on the YouTube and the Twitch side of things as well on X Bomb Sports. Check out Johnson and Combs. We didn't go today. uh, Brandon had a project to do for class. Not going to be able to go tomorrow. We'll be going again 9 o'clock Thursday morning. Again,
Hmm.
9 o'clock Thursday morning. Switching up. We usually go Tuesdays at 2, but we'll go, like I said, impromptu. Going again at 9 o'clock on Thursdays because gotta talk some baseball. We gotta talk a little bit of everything. That's what we gotta do on Johnston and Combs over there. Then finally, No Substitute for Sports Live over there as well. Twitch, everything is just twitch.tv/SportsTown Shy. Hopefully, gonna get back into the radio side of things as well for the Sports Pit. We'll see if that changes. It's probably gonna change the name because the next set of students are coming in. So there you go. Shout out to Alan for taking your notes. Maybe you are, but for sure, thank you to Troy for doing that. He'll be getting his Kentucky update in as well. So Mikey, as well to you. Thank you for taking the time out of your night to enjoy this. We got through the tornado, we got through the
Of
rain and everything else. So again, I thank you very much for doing that. Got any other
course,
final
man.
thoughts for the people?
It's everyone have a great rest of your week and take care and spike your hair, right?
Absolutely. Take care, and we'll see you again next week. Back on the YouTube side of things, the hiatus is over with. We're back here and we're ready to roll. So take care, and we'll see yous. Bye bye.